Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Maria. I'm Maria, and today's class is for anyone and everyone, so I invite you to come and join me with an open mind. I find when I'm feeling bad or depressed or sad that it usually has something to do with something that happened in the past, but it distorts my reality of the present moment or of the future, making it really hard to get up and take action, or just keep going with our lives. So the movements we're going to take today are going to help us boost our moods. The other thing about feeling off or sad is that I like to acknowledge that it's okay to feel bad. We live in this world where there's a lot of talk and conversation about staying positive, and there's a lot of pressure to always be happy. And so I like to just remind myself that it's truly okay, it really is, to not feel 100% or to feel off sometimes. It really is okay. And I also like to remind myself that whatever I'm feeling will eventually pass. And that's the truth for all of our emotions and the way that you feel. Ultimately, those things are temporary. So just a few things to keep in mind as we get started. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get started. So we're gonna take some easy movements here. This is gonna be a little bit of a slower moving class, but we're gonna start on our back. So things are looking up already. So just bring the seat to the mat or the space you've created for yourself, and you can take the hands behind the knees and just roll yourself down onto your back. And then from here, you'll bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open up wide. We're taking a Supta Baddha Konasana here. And then you can take the blocks and support the knees or the thighs if that's what feels good for you. And then just take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Let the eyes close and just feel your back grounding into your mat or the floor. And here, let's just take our attention to the breath, starting to bring ourselves into the moment at hand, allowing ourselves to be with our bodies. So take a big breath in and out. Again, breathe in and out. Breathing in and out. Just staying here for a few more moments. Keep going with the breath. Allowing yourself to tune in to yourself, to tune into whatever you might be feeling today. And then begin to flutter the eyes open. Use the hands to scoop the knees up. Maybe move the blocks to the sides here. And then bring the knees into the chest. You can just give them a little squeeze to start. Maybe rock the knees side to side. Good, and then we're gonna begin to roll up. So just put a little tuck in the chin so that the spine begins to round. Take the hands back behind the knees and begin to roll forward and back. Just taking it easy and slow to start. And then building a little bit of momentum. So taking a few more and then coming all the way up, crossing at the ankles, rolling over the knees. You might have to shimmy back here a little bit. And then just tuck the toes and take the seat up for an easy downward facing dog. So really make this easy. So put a big bend in the knees. Really make sure that the head is falling heavy so the back of the neck is long. Pedal out the feet. Let's make this an active downward facing dog rather than static or feeling stuck in this posture. So just keep it moving, bending at the knees, maybe finding length in one side of the body and then the other, letting the heels fall to either side. Yeah, so nice. And then from here, we'll just take the knees down to the mat. Set up the hands underneath the shoulders. take a few rounds of cat-cow. So on your breath in, let the low belly drop down, the chest shines forward, the gaze goes up. On the exhale, round in the spine, let the head fall heavy. Taking a couple more, breathe and belly drops for cow pose. The gaze goes up, shine the chest forward. Exhale, round the spine, back of the neck is long, head falls all the way heavy. One more time, breathe in, chest lifts, look forward. Exhale, round the spine. Come back to a neutral spine here, and then come down onto the forearms. And then from here, begin to walk the knees back just a little bit, maybe 3 to 4 inches. And then we'll begin to let the chest drop down to the mat, the forehead can come to the mat, finding a puppy pose. Opening in the chest and the shoulders. Staying with the breath here. Allowing the chest to melt down towards the mat. Allowing yourself to surrender a bit here. Once again, remembering that it's okay to feel the way that you feel. And it's okay to allow those emotions and those feelings to have their place. So just surrendering to what is, what already exists for you right now. Keep breathing. One more, in and out. Begin to press into the hands. We'll come back to hands and knees. And then we'll just make our way back to that easy downward facing dog. The hips go up and back. Go ahead and take a couple more petals of the feet. And then lift both heels up, bend the knees, look forward, and begin to walk slow steps forward. You can make your way to close to the top of the mat, and then just fold over the legs, letting the head fall heavy once again. Finding a crease in the hip, and just keeping the knees bent here, just a nice bend. You might even sway side to side. Really make sure there's no holding in the neck or the shoulders. You have an option here to take the hands to the blocks as well. And just taking a moment here to come back into your body, come back into yourself, and understand if there's energy that might not be serving you, that you might be able to just let roll off your back, and just kind of envision, that energy or those feelings just rolling off your back and away from you. One more big breath in and out. Put an even bigger bend in the knees and just slowly begin to roll up. The head will be the last to arrive to the top. And then stand tall. Feel the feet grounding down into the mat. Feel strong here. The chest is lifted. Close the eyes. The low belly pulls in. And then say to yourself, you can repeat after me, it's okay that I feel off sometimes. And I trust that these feelings will pass. Let's say it again to ourselves. It's okay that I feel off sometimes. And I trust that these feelings will pass. Flutter the eyes open. We're just going to take some movements here. 1 breath per movement. So breathe and reach the arms up and overhead. The chest lifts slightly. See the hands touch overhead. Exhale, put a bend in the knees and fold over the legs. Let the head fall heavy. On your inhale, look forward. Find length in the spine. Just take the hands to the shins or the thighs, finding broadness across the chest once again. On the exhale, fold over the legs, put a bend in the knees. Let the head fall heavy. Breathe and stand all the way up. Arms reach up and overhead. Look up. Once again, see the hands touch. Exhale, pull the hands through the center line of the body, over the heart, and then hands go by the sides. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, bend in the knees and fold over the legs. Head falls all the way heavy. Breathe in, half lift. Hands come to the shins or the thighs, broad across the chest. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, bend in the knees, rise all the way up to stand. Arms reach up and overhead, look up. Exhale, pull the hands through the center line, and then stand tall, arms are by the sides, finding a Tadasana pose. From here, let's take the hands to the waist. You're gonna take a big step back with your left foot. All 10 toes are gonna turn over to the left. So you're gonna have a nice wide straddle here. Interlace the hands behind the back. On your breath in, lift the chest, look up. On your breath out, fold forward, keep the hands behind the back. The wrists don't have to touch. Let the head fall heavy. The hands come up and overhead any amount. If this is too much for you, you can grab the opposite elbows behind you. You can even put a little bend in the knees. Really let the head fall heavy. And come back to the breath in and out. Breathing in and out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. From here, take the hands to the low back and then release the fingertips. Take the hands to the mat. Take a half lift. So you're just finding a little length in the spine, looking forward a bit here. And then on your exhale, we'll take a low lunge to the front of your space. So turn the right toes forward, the left heel lifts up. From here, plant the hands and step to a plank pose. On your exhale, just lower all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes, squeeze the legs together. The hands are gonna press into the mat. Just breathe in, lift the head and the chest. The elbows pull back for a cobra pose. And then take the gaze. We're gonna keep a little tuck in the chin to keep the back of the neck long, but take the gaze about 6 inches in front of the front edge of your mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Stay with it here. Feel the low belly engaging beneath you. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Lower the forehead down to the mat. Take a breath here. Feeling the space between the eyebrows pressing down. And then press into the hands. Take the seat to the heels, just for a child's pose, just for a moment here. And then we'll tuck the toes and come back into our easy downward facing dog for today. From here, just begin to walk the toes forward, coming all the way to the front of the mat. When you arrive, take your half lift once again, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold over the legs, put a bend in the knees. Breathe and stand all the way up. Hands reach up and overhead. Exhale, stand tall, find your Tadasana, feet grounding down into the mat. Take the hands back to the waist. And this time we're gonna step the right foot all the way back behind us. All 10 toes turn towards the right. We're back in our straddle here. Interlace the hands behind the back. And then breathe and lift the chest. Let the shoulders roll back, look up. Exhale, fold over the legs. You can press into the outer edge of either foot. Once again, if interlacing the fingers is too much for today, you can grab opposite elbows behind the back. You can even put a little bend in the knees here. Let the head fall all the way heavy so the crown of the head is reaching towards the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Just letting the tension or any holding just roll off the body. One more, in and out. Take the hands by the low back, release the fingertips, hands come to the mat, lift the chest, look forward a bit, and then turn the left toes forward, lift the right heel. You're in a low lunge. From here, step to plank pose. And then on your exhale, lower all the way to your belly. Forehead comes to the mat, untuck the toes. And then the hands come underneath the armpits a little bit further back. On your breath in, lift the head and the chest. And then you're gonna press into the feet to lift all the way to an upward facing dog. So the thighs are off the mat, the chest is lifted, keep pressing into the hands, use the muscles of the arms, low belly pulls in, and then the gaze goes up. Stay with it, breathe in, breathe out, inhale, exhale, one more time, stay with it, you've got this, breathe in, breathe out, take the knees to the mat, push the seat back for a child's pose, and then come back into downward facing dog. So nice. From here, we're gonna breathe in, coming to plank pose. We're almost coming to the floor here. Turn to the outer edge of the right foot, left arm reaches up. From here, you're gonna put a bend in the left knee, step the foot back behind you, and take a wild thing, or sometimes it's called rock star pose. The hips lift, chest lifts, let the head fall back. Having a moment of freedom here, breathe in, breathe out, taking up space. Inhale, come back to plank pose. We're just gonna take the other side, turn to the outer edge of the left foot, right arm reaches up. You're in a side plank first, and then the right knee bends, take the foot back behind you, hips lift up, chest lifts, arm reaches forward. Breathe in, breathe out, finding space, expanding here, in and out. From here, come back to plank pose. Exhale, take the knees to the mat, take a block or a book or even a pillow and just place it underneath the seat. Hands come to the thighs. Sit up tall here, and we're just gonna do a little breathing exercise. So close the eyes and you'll just follow my voice. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a few more rounds on your own. You might add a count to each inhale and exhale. Lengthening out the breath, creating evenness in the breath, allowing us to create evenness in the body and the mind. Once you've finished your second round, flutter the eyes back open, come to stand on the knees, remove the block to the side, and then just sink the hips to one side. Feet come out in front of you. You can keep a little bend in the knees here. Hands come behind the knees, and then we'll just roll ourselves down onto our backs. Keep the soles of the feet on the mat. We're just gonna take a bridge pose here. So arms are long by the sides, the palms face down. Breathe in to lift the hips up, peeling the lower, the middle back up, and then we're gonna interlace the hands underneath us. Roll either shoulder underneath the back, and then press down into the forearms to lift the hips up. Keep pressing the chest towards the chin. Stay with the breath here. If this is too much today, you can keep the hands pressing to the mat, the palms facing down, or you can just place a block or a thick book underneath your low back. If you're up in bridge with me, stay with it for one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Release the fingertips and slowly lower down, upper, middle, lower back. Keep the feet on the mat. Just separate the feet about mat width distance. Let the knees knock in. One hand comes to the belly, one hand comes to the heart. Close the eyes once again here. Come back to your breath. Come back to your body. So nice. And then from here, we're gonna get our feet up off the mat. So heel toe, the feet in towards one another. You've got a couple options here. You can take the feet up towards the ceiling, and then the hands come behind the legs where the hamstrings are. Just let the arms go long so that the legs are just hanging into the hands. This is option one. Another option is to take a block on the lowest setting, place it underneath your low back, and then the same thing, take the feet up towards the ceiling. For this option two, the hands and the arms are long on the mat, palms face down, keep the feet flexed. Nice. This can also work up against a wall if you want the extra support behind the heels. And then our last option, we'll take a full shoulder stand. So to get into it, the feet come up and overhead so that the toes touch the floor behind the head. You'll interlace the hands and roll either shoulder underneath the back. From here, you'll bend at the elbows, the hands come to the low back, and then one leg goes up, then the other to meet it. Keep reaching the toes up towards the ceiling. If you've got your feet up in another position, stay where you are. Allowing new blood to come into our hearts and into our brains. Letting some of the heaviness we might feel in our legs and our feet to move throughout the body, relieving some of those feelings here. Good, and then if you're in shoulder stand, put a little bend in the knees. Reach the toes all the way forward and above the head. The hands come to the mat, and then use the arms and the hands as brakes to roll your back all the way down. Feet come all the way to the mat. If the feet are up in any other capacity, slowly make your way so that you're just lying flat on your back here. Finding a Shavasana posture. The palms can face up now. The eyes can close once again. Just taking a few more breaths. Allowing all the movements that we've just taken to incorporate into the body. Allowing ourselves one more opportunity to let go of any holding or tension. To let any feeling or emotion pass by. From here, bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. Let the knees fall to the right side. And then use the hands to press yourself up to a seat. You can just cross at the ankles, finding a tall seat here. Taking one more moment. The hands can come to touch in front of the heart. Knowing that you have all the tools that you need to feel good. Put a little tuck in the chin. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for joining. As always, if you haven't hit the big red subscribe button below, please do that and let me know if you like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Otherwise, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and I'm looking forward to practicing with you soon.